1.1 billion Canadian taxpayer dollars have been paid housing immigrants after years of stonewalling and not giving us any information. The Canadian government, Liberal government, just came out and said 1.1 billion Canadian taxpayer dollars have been paid housing immigrants, and you can bet your last buck that that is a low number. Some quick napkin math. We've allowed 8 million immigrants into the country in the past 10 years, say ballpark 10,000 per to house them. That's 8 billion. The 1.1 billion, I'll bet you anything, is very low, but it's still absolute insanity. And guess what? They just announced that 75% of Canadians say we have too much immigration. The Canadian government, led by Mark Carney, just came out and said that in the year 2025, we're going to allow another million immigrants into the country. Another million. You will not find as overwhelming a consensus as 75% of Canadians agreeing on anything. And 3 in 4 say we have too many immigrants, yet the Canadian government continues to ignore us. This is a treasonous bunch. There is no other way to define it. It is a treasonous bunch. We have 2 million Canadians using food banks. Our middle and lower classes have disappeared. It's not an exaggeration to say our middle and lower classes are disappearing day by day, despite the fact that we live in one of the most resource-rich countries in the world. GDP per capita measured recently 50 countries. Canada landed dead last. And you know why that is? The two biggest factors are immigration and green initiatives. And you know what Carney and the Liberal government are pushing? More immigration and green initiatives. They hate us. They absolutely hate us. So at the same time as 75% of Canadians say too much immigration, they're allowing another million in the country after allowing 8 million in the past decade. And you know what else our Canadian government is focusing on? Passing Bill C2 and Bill C4, which are two of the most authoritarian bills I've ever seen in my entire life. Bill C2 will allow the government to open your mail. It changes any Canadian who has a computer to be defined as an electronics provider. Bill C2. Any Canadian with a computer is considered an electronics provider, and they are able, if they deem it in the national security interest, they can then access your computer and look through everything you've ever done. You don't know what this is. This is a crackdown on anybody who criticizes immigration. They're doing the same thing in the UK. It's truly disgusting. The government's response to more immigration is to say you're not allowed to criticize us for it. This is authoritarianism 101. So Bill C2 allows the government to come in, access any Canadian's computer in the so-called national security interest, as well as granting the Canada Post the ability to open anybody's mail without their awareness if they deem it in the national security interest. So great, Bill C2, it's 100 pages, it's very long to read. They always try to hide this stuff at the back, but check it out. It allows the government to access any Canadian's computer and open your mail before you've had a chance to look at it in the so-called national security interest. Bill C4, the Liberal Party has been collecting data on Canadians, obviously in memoriam. It retroactively back to the year 2000, so for the past 25 years, it essentially crosses off anything illegal that has happened in that data collection. It says that going back to the year 2000, any irregularities, anything illegal that any political party has done in collecting that data, they have hundreds of thousands of ways to collect that data. It retroactively gives them freedom from any charges for anything they've done wrong. And only somebody who's guilty would try to set something up where they say that retroactively they cannot be charged for anything they've done in the past 25 years. So at the same time as Canadians are saying our biggest issue is we cannot afford any more immigration and cut it out with these ESG green initiative policies that absolutely destroy our middle and lower class, while getting guys like Mark Carney at Brookfield, the WF in Davos, incredibly rich. They continue to push those two items first and foremost. Well, they roll back our civil liberties. It's a complete inversion of what should be happening in this country. It's supposed to be the Canadian people who are free and the government who responds to the people. The government should be scared of the people. It's the exact opposite. They're trying to set up, look back, this is like what Mao set up in China, what happened under Stalin in the USSR. They're trying to set up a system that is the exact inversion of how our government is supposed to set up. They want the people scared of the government. Fuck you, Mark Carney. This guy's a coward. All these liberals are cowards. These virtue signaling woke clowns who don't look at the fact that we have open crack smoking on our goddamn streets everywhere you go. And you know what their response to that is? You're a racist if you say anything about that. If you mention anything about the ridiculous safe supply laws that allow for open use, it's a goddamn joke. It's become a goddamn joke in this country. You cannot walk anywhere. You cannot walk anywhere without open crack smoking all over the place. What's happened in our society is true insanity. I'll give you an example. Everywhere you go, it's just open. This is I live a couple of blocks away from the Parliament building, and it's just open. Look, right now, I can walk by and see open crack smoking on our streets. And if you think a couple of blocks away from the Parliament, you think our government gives a damn about it? It's truly disgusting. Look into Bill C2, Bill C4. They're trying to roll back our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Trudeau started the job. Carney's looking to finish it. Canadians need to stand up and say, hell no to this authoritarian wannabe. The good news is Mark Carney and the Liberals, if they're actually confronted, they're cowards. We actually need to get out in the street and make our voices heard. Please like, subscribe, share this message, spread it as far and wide as you possibly can. If you're interested in supporting, hit the link in my bio, donate, grab some merch. I'm going to be setting up rallies in early September because unless Canadians actually physically get out on the street and make our voices heard like they are in the UK, like they are in Australia right now, you better bet your last dollar the government is not going to do a goddamn thing about it. They don't give a shit about Canadians, but I know there's a lot of proud Canadians of ancestors who fought in World War I, World War II. We're standing up to these authoritarian cowards.